recommendations are how to balance or do it right, or investigate and still keep the Constitution, Bill of Rights.
Just do me a favor, guys. I'm happy to have you, but if you can just say this for you, that'd be great.
And three of the recommendations.
Step to your right.
Collen Rowley.
So actually, it turned out the month I retired.
When did you retire?
My last day was the last day of 2004.
Okay, I'm rolling. Yeah, you'll give us another clap, Chris.
Katie, ABC producer, sound guys and filmers.
Well, you shouldn't be. Actually, in my statement, my 12-page memo, the very last part of this was about the need for the truth. And when I testified 2 weeks later to the Senate Judiciary, I had to explain why, because of course I had most of the FBI saying, why the heck would you risk your career for these types of things? So I had four main reasons why integrity matters.
Take us back to the days before September 11th. You were in the field office in Minneapolis, St. Paul. What were you trying to tell your superiors?
Well, it wasn't me personally. There were two agents who had been called by whistleblowers at a flight school in Eagan, Minnesota. And essentially, there were all these facts, but essentially, they had spotted the most unusual student that they had ever encountered. One of the things was he had come in with cash. He had no private pilot's license. His name was Zacharias Moussaoui.
Right.
And so these two flight instructors took it on themselves against the wishes of their employer, because they were essentially giving information about a customer, very not kosher. They called the FBI, and the FBI, just a little bit of serendipity, landed on a pilot, a former Navy pilot who had military intelligence background, ran out there within just a short time, just really hours, interviewed other pilots, really put this down in a very concrete, factual form, sent leads to Europe, to France, to Great Britain, and now this happened on August 16th, they were so worried they took this immigrant, because his visa had lapsed, into INS custody on August 16th, got the call, put him into custody, then waited a little bit for some information to materialize, sent it to headquarters so that they could proceed to get an emergency search of his personal effects and laptop. And what happened was that was stalled. On August 23rd, however, really short time period, this information made its way to the Director of Central Intelligence, the head of 16 Intelligence, which was George Kennett. He was briefed with a PowerPoint entitled Fundamentalist Learns to Fly on August 23rd, 2001.
Do you believe Moussaoui was involved in that?
Well, it's proven. He's been convicted. And what it is if you would have been able to do the search, you would have found that there are fingerprints and receipts for money that came from the masterminds, Ramzi bin al-Sheikh. And actually another guy too. He's connected to the meeting in Kuala Lumpur. So yes, he is directly connected to the hijackers.
You were on the cover of the Time magazine. Now, do you believe that the American government was complicit in the murder of innocent Americans in 9/11?
Well, though that's a loaded term, of course, complicit. Because
what do you believe about?
When you say complicit, of course, you know what I'm thinking? I worked mafia cases in New York in the 80s, and of course I think of John Gotti, conspiracies like that. But what you do have is failures and lapses. You certainly have a lot in the 9/11 Commission says that
failures and lapses.
Right. The 9/11 Commission characterized it as a failure to appreciate and a failure to connect the dots. I think that
a lot of the people here believe that the government helped murder innocent Americans. Do you share their belief, the belief of the people at this convention?
Well, of course, anytime you get a group together, I don't care what group it is.
So do you believe it or not?
Do I believe what?
Do you believe that the American government helped kill innocent Americans?
Well, you're kind of trying to almost put me on an interrogation. You know what? You remind me of when I was an FBI agent.
Okay, let me do it a different way.
I can explain though. Let me explain.
Do you share the beliefs of those here who believe that the American government was complicit in the slaughter of Americans?
Okay. I am not going to choose your term complicit, because that, to me, denotes something completely different. What I believe is that the full truth, and actually the 9/11 commissioners now say this too, is not known. Absolutely. The NORAD call-out, for instance, is extremely murky. There have been many, our own Minnesota Senator at the time, Dayton, wrote a piece about how these timelines don't fit. So there are parts of this that certainly need further explaining. And I think it's very normal for people when information is withheld. I've been privy during my 24 years career in the FBI, for instance, when Ashcroft refused to tell people about the FBI is going to libraries to get records. When he did this, it gives rise to people to the worst, that perhaps the FBI was improperly collecting information. So, what I believe is that there were really serious, some very serious lapses. My memo, my 12-page memo, actually gave rise to a 2.5-year investigation. The Inspector General for the Department of Justice, based on the push that was my memo, investigated, it's about 400 to 500 page long document that shows 3 different major ways that the FBI failed. And one of them was the 2 hijackers. I didn't even know about that when I wrote the memo. So certainly, if you're asking me, is there a lot of information, and are there a lot of things and lapses, intertwined mistakes, all these types of things that really account for why the United States was not able to stop or prevent or reduce 9/11? Yes, I totally am that way. I think the 9/11 commissioners believe that too.
Do you believe